So, more stark warnings from South Korea to Russia and North Korea over their military and arms collaboration. Let's take a closer look at President Yoon Suk Yeol's UN speech with Professor Min Jeong-hun this morning. It's good to have you with us.
Good morning.
President Yoon said any arms deal between Russia and North Korea will be considered a direct provocation against South Korea. Now, that means he's taking their military collaboration pretty seriously, right?
Yes, and compared to the last year, this year's warning is much more stronger than last year, considering the situation where North Korea is enhancing its military cooperation with Russia, and it could impose serious military threats to South Korea. As you mentioned, President Yoon made a strong warning against the military cooperation between North Korea and Russia when he delivered a keynote speech to the U.S. Security General Assembly in New York. And he said that any arms deal between North Korea and Russia would be considered as a direct provocation against South Korea. He shows that South Korea perceives the military cooperation between North Korea and Russia very, very seriously as a matter of national security. And it has been known that North Korea will receive the information and technology necessary to improve the weapons of mass destruction capabilities like ICBM and SLBM technologies in exchange for providing Russia with conventional weapons like ammunition and rockets. And if North Korea receives the advanced military technologies from Russia and make progress in its nuclear and missile capabilities, there will be no doubt that such an improved North Korean military capabilities will impose greater security threats to South Korea and its partners like the United States and Japan. So South Korea and its partners like the US and Japan will pay close attention to changes in North Korea's military capabilities in the coming months, as well as they will also try to enhance their military cooperation against North Korea's increasing military threats.
Definitely. And I would like to point out how Yoon said Russia, North Korea, not North Korea, Russia, which has been his usual way of saying it when talking about their military cooperation. Now, the question is, why the change?
Well, basically, I don't think that such a way of saying or speaking reflects a meaningful or significant change in the inter-Korean relations. Instead, personally, I think that it's just a diplomatic rhetoric that South Korea expresses its strong grievance against North Korea. As you know, North Korea has been making illegal military developments despite the international community's strong warnings, and now it is pursuing military cooperation with Russia, which is also illegal. So I think that North Korea is showing unacceptable behaviors, and South Korea is responding to the North Korea's misconduct in various diplomatic ways, including President Yoon's and the high-ranking government officials' strong warnings against North Korea, international community's support for South Korea's positions against North Korea, and changes in a way of saying or speaking the sequence of the countries, North Korea and Russia, or the Russia and North Korea.
So that phrasing doesn't reflect the status of inter-Korean relations, rather it's a diplomatic rhetoric, you're saying?
Yes, it's correct.
And, President Yoon said that South Korea and its allies and partners will not just sit and watch what Russia and North Korea do. Does that mean more sanctions? I mean, what could they be?
Well, there could be several options that South Korea and its partners, like the United States and Japan, would take to respond to the arms deals between North Korea and Russia. In my opinion, first, they are likely to strengthen their military cooperation to cope with the military movement between North Korea and Russia. And then if they have concrete evidence on the arms deals between North Korea and Russia, then it is expected that they will try to impose more sanctions against North Korea and Russia in the international stage, like the UN Security Council resolutions, and each country will also try to impose more unilateral sanctions against them. Meanwhile, it is very likely that other major international community members, like many European countries and other democratic countries, will support for what South Korea and its partners will do against North Korea and Russia. So basically, I think that the measures that the South Korea and its partners will take are likely to impose more limitations to North Korea and Russia in the international stage.
That's a very good point, Professor Min. Now, the Russian delegation didn't look too happy when President Yoon was giving his speech. Do you think North Korea in any way will react to Yoon's speech?
Yes, basically, I think that North Korea will react to President Yoon's speech by making counter arguments based on their own arguments or their reasoning. I think that North Korea will argue that it is pursuing the military cooperation with Russia mainly because U.S. and its partners are imposing serious security threats to North Korea. Specifically, it will argue that it is the United States that is making the security situation on the Korean Peninsula more grave and serious, and South Korea and Japan are just on the same side with the U.S. So it suggests that North Korea will continue to go its way to make progress its military capabilities with the help of Russia and possibly China. So it is likely that North Korea will also continue to take advantage of the security environment over the Korean Peninsula. It will continue to support for Russia and China in the international stage and try to improve the military or the trilateral cooperation among them. So it is expected that the competition and conflict over the Korean Peninsula will be grave for some time.
Right, taking Yoon's speech as an excuse to go ahead with they want to do with Russia. Before I let you go, Professor Min, Yoon also said South Korea increased next year's official development assistance, that's ODA, by more than 40%. What does that say about South Korea's commitment to aiding countries, those are in need?
So basically, we have to think of the directions of foreign policy that the Yoon government is pursuing. The directions of the foreign policy under the Yoon government include establishing South Korea as a global pivotal state. It means that the scope of South Korea's diplomacy is going beyond the Korean Peninsula and reaching out throughout the Indo-Pacific region. And the South Korea is trying to play more active roles and take more responsibilities. And such activities include providing financial contributions to the developing countries and the global South. And they needed to receive the international community's helping hands for improving their domestic capabilities and economic developments. So with the greater roles and responsibilities, South Korea is trying to become a responsible and trustworthy stakeholder in the international community.
Right, definitely aligning with the Yoon government's diplomatic approach. Thank you so much, Professor Min, for connecting with us all the way from Texas this morning. You enjoy your evening.
Thank you.